I'll call to order this June 11th, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have roll call?
Yes. Jason Decker.
Here.
Mary Lee Hall.
Here.
Samantha Hall.
Here.
William Hall.
Here.
Jeremy Hash.
Here.
Jennifer Henkel.
Here.
Nathan Henkel.
Here.
Lisa Stoller. Joseph Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If you approve the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. 3.01, I'll entertain a motion to approve the May 21st, 2026 minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If you approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Which moves us to 4.01, educational updates by Dr. Reppert.
Thank you, President Henkel. School Board, good evening. Another year has passed so quickly. We had a lot to celebrate, reflect upon, and most of all, congratulations to the class of 2026. We're proud of our Warriors, of what they've become. Now go out, make your families and school proud in your future endeavors. Focusing on safety, once again, I mentioned this last week in thanking our safety and security, but more importantly, thanking the staff and security that assisted with the commencement exercises on the 29th. Graduation was a great opportunity to showcase our graduating seniors. The support of their focus on the safety and security of all who attended was greatly appreciated, and we really are thankful for the support that we have there. Big congratulations out to the 2026 graduates. Commencement was memorable, the weather was perfect, the speakers were outstanding, and Lieutenant Colonel Schultz's message was inspiring. A huge thanks to all the parents and relatives for their support of their graduating seniors, and another thank you to all the staff as well as administrators that attended and supported the students that evening. We had an opportunity on May 30th to attend the New Freedom Heritage Greens, the Flags for Heroes, that was supported by the New Freedom Rotary. There were over about 100 flags that were on display, and a former school board director, United States Marine, Mr. Jim Holly, was one of two veterans that were honored at that event, as well as Captain Jack. So we want to thank Mr. Harler from our music department, as well as the members from the band who were present to perform the music at that event. Under Collaborative, I want to take a moment to thank our administrative team and school leadership team for the planning of the professional development this upcoming summer to kick off the planning for next school year. Their time and effort is appreciated, and we're looking forward to seeing the professional staff over the summer to be ready to roll when the students return back in summer. A couple reminders, wish a couple board members an early summer birthday, so happy early birthday, Mrs. Henkel, Mr. Wilson, as well as Mr. Hall. So let's make it a great summer.
Or not.
The choice is yours.
I'd like to add my thanks to all the seniors or the many seniors who gave me docs at graduation. All right, that brings us to item 5.01, public comment. We have one, Steph Musser.
Good evening, Steph Musser from Cadorus Township. I'm speaking tonight because I believe words matter, especially when they come from elected school board members seeking to influence public education. Last April, then candidate and now school board member Jason Decker used the phrase cultural Marxism to describe an educational enrichment program during public comment. And then again, the PAC that elected everyone sitting on this school board published a newsletter entitled Standing in the Breach Against Cultural Marxism at Our Schools. What's more disturbing is where I came across this term again more recently. It was in the manifesto of two teenage boys who opened fire on a school and mosque in San Diego last month. Some may use this phrase without understanding its history, but that history matters. Cultural Marxism is not simply a political critique. It is a conspiracy theory that has roots in anti-Semitic narratives dating back decades. At its core is the claim that a group of left-wing intellectuals, often associated with Jewish scholars of the Frankfurt School, have secretly infiltrated American institutions, including schools, universities, media, government, in order to undermine Western civilization from within. This idea has been repeatedly rejected by historians, political scientists, and experts on extremism because it relies on the notion of a hidden, coordinated effort to manipulate society. While the language has evolved over time, the underlying conspiracy theory has often served as a vehicle for anti-Semitic beliefs. Another similar term, cultural Bolshevism, was used by the Nazi propaganda machine during World War II. In 2002, William Lind, a political writer and conservative strategist who is often credited with popularizing this term, spoke about cultural Marxism to a group of neo-Nazis at a Holocaust denial conference. That history becomes even more troubling when we recognize that references to cultural Marxism have appeared in the writings and manifestos of several violent extremists. The perpetrators of deadly attacks in places such as Norway, New Zealand, and most recently in San Diego frequently justify their attacks using cultural Marxism as part of a broader worldview that portrayed educators, journalists, immigrants, minorities, and Jews as participants in a coordinated plot against society. To be clear, using this phrase does not make someone a violent extremist. Most people who use it are not advocating violence, but that does not erase the history of the term, nor the responsibility we have to understand the ideas that we amplify. As a community, we should be able to debate curriculum, education philosophy, and school policy. Reasonable people can disagree about those issues. But when discourse shifts from debating ideas to invoking conspiracy theories about secret plots to corrupt children and destroy society, we cross a line that damages trust and inflames division. To be honest, it makes me question whether the recent decision not to adequately fund our school district is based on some board members' beliefs in cultural Marxism. Our schools should be places where students learn to evaluate evidence, think critically, and engage respectfully with the people who hold different views. We should model those same values as adults. I invite you tonight to publicly reject rhetoric rooted in conspiracy theories that have a documented history of anti-Semitism and that have been embraced by individuals who use them to justify not just hatred, but also violence. Last September, your relationship with a social media influencer put our schools under threat after the murder of Charlie Kirk. Using rhetoric embraced by mass shooters puts our school and community at risk too. We owe our students something better than fear and suspicion. We owe them honesty, intellectual rigor, and a commitment to treating one another with dignity. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5.02, board discussion and public comment. Does anyone have anything? Guess I'll just say that for my part, you'll always find extremists and conspiracy theorists using often the same terms, even correct terms, to criticize the extremists and sometimes conspiracy theorists on the other side. That doesn't mean that the ones they're criticizing aren't also extremists. And so what the people that commonly oppose both extremes are the centrists and common sense people. And they may use language that describes those extremes as extreme, and that language may sometimes be the same that is used by conspiracy theorists and extremists because they're simply describing their opponents and their extremism. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Hitler had a German Shepherd and you have a German Shepherd argument. I do believe that cultural Marxism does exist. And I really think we need to get past this place in our society where everybody's an anti-Semite. Somebody can believe in cultural Marxism without being an anti-Semite. Somebody can be critical of the state of Israel, as I am, without being an anti-Semite. So I think those who accuse others of calling people names shouldn't call people names themselves.
All right. Moving on to item 6, the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Heard.
Second.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Which brings us to item 7, and I will turn it over to our education chair, Mrs. Henkel.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. 7.01 is field trips. Dr. Reppert, can you explain this one for us?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Henkel. For the board and community, this is the proposed elementary, middle, and high school field trips for next school year. Many of the field trips are continuing. There is one addition to the field trip list, which is for the high school band, orchestra, and choir to go on a combined field trip to Florida next year.
Fantabulous. All right. I move to approve the proposed elementary, middle, and high school field trip list for the 2026-2027 school year. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.02 is the Type C program. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, the Type C program that is here for approval. This is the program for grades 3 through 6. The students in the elementary school will be utilizing that during their media classroom in the library. So giving the students the opportunity to, work and fine-tune their keyboarding skills.
I move to approve the purchase and implementation of the Type C program for grades 3 through 6 with a 3-year contract at a total cost of $5,677.32. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I do want to highlight one of the questions that Mr. Wilson had asked, and we received feedback from Dr. Hughes. This program does include options for gamification, but you can turn those off. You don't need to use them. So, great question, and thank you, Dr. Hughes, for finding that out. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.03, this is a French 2 and 3 program. Dr. Reppert, can you explain this one?
Yes, for this upcoming school year, this is the contract working with the Lincoln Intermediate Unit for the utilization of an online version for French 2 and 3. Currently, we have slots for 104 students that will be doing the online during the school day, monitored in our library for this class.
I move to approve the purchase and implementation of the LIU 12 Accelerated Education for French 2 and 3 program for the 2026-2027 school year, not to exceed $30,040.40. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.04 is a contract with a rehabilitation service. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for this contract here, it's for 2 parts. One for a leave coverage for our students that need speech and language, as well as an additional coverage throughout the entire school year to provide virtual speech and language services to our students that need that support and service.
Thank you, Dr. Reppert. I move to approve a contract with Austeels Rehabilitation Services Incorporated for leave coverage for speech and language services from July 1st, 2026 to November 30th, 2026 for 8 hours per day, not to exceed a cost of $38,400, and for virtual speech and language services for the 2026-2027 school year, not to exceed $16,896. The total of both speech and language services are capped not to exceed at $55,296. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any conversation, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.5 is curriculum maps. I move to approve the following Stage 1 curriculum maps as district-wide master maps, and they are indicated below in the agenda. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any conversation, discussion, or questions on this one? Got a lot there for you, 6 of them. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.6 is novel adoption. I move to approve the following novel adoption, Bigfoot and Littlefoot by Ellen Potter. And what's interesting about this is it's a one book for all of our elementary schools, so I wanted you guys to have that information. They all picked the same book. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any conversation? Questions? It was
Was it good?
adorable.
Yeah, it was
It was adorable. Yep. Very fast-paced, too. Like, you got into something quickly in each chapter, which I thought was good for younger children. All righty. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.7, online teacher resource. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for approval this evening is an online teacher resource for AP Statistics. This is just for the teacher for utilization of assessment resources.
All right. I move to approve the following online teacher resource, and that would be Mathmetic Plus AP Statistics. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. 7.8, an update from Dr. Reppert on the AI committee, followed by Mr. Wilson.
Yes, for this evening, we have the digital handbook that was created by the AI committee. A lot of feedback we received, pared it down, I think, Mr. Wilson, 60 pages maybe?
Well, we pared down by about 60 pages.
Yes. Mr. Wilson, anything you want to share about the handbook?
It is shared here in the, as an attachment. I would highly recommend reading through it. It's really gets into how we are using AI, and, you know, I think it's going to evolve a little bit more to more just how we are using technology within Southern York County schools. We're not anti-tech, we're actually high rigor, and making sure that we're balancing those at times competing interests is critical. So I highly recommend breezing through it, and it's a lot easier of a breeze now.
And as Mr. Wilson noted, you know, about the digital technology, that's actually how we're going to transform this committee when we return back to school, as opposed to just focusing in on artificial intelligence, but looking at technology throughout the district.
All right, so that's there for information only, and I'd like to thank Dr. Hughes and Mr. Wilson for taking the time to synthesize that. I know that was a lot of work to do. 7.9, speaker, what's
Sorry,
that?
I do want to thank Dr. Hughes, because I know her and I sat down and went
Yep.
page by page through it.
It was a
and
labor of
talked it
love.
through. So,
Yep.
big bit of credit to her, too.
7.9, speaker approved through the vetting process. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, we do have one speaker to approve. This is for next school year, Magisterial Judge Sweeney. For those who remember, she would come in and do the judge in the classroom. This presentation would focus on the inappropriate cell phone use, sexting, as well as the impacts of vaping, and really sharing that with our students about the implications when they're utilizing or being involved in those, how it can impact them when it gets into the judicial system.
I move to approve through, speaker through the vetting process, Judge Sweeney. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any
This
questions?
is information.
Yeah, it's information.
Oh,
It's
is
just
it?
information.
Yeah,
Oh, because it
no-
doesn't
no
come to the
cost.
district, my bad. I will say, I was actually really impressed that Judge Sweeney's speeches and her presentations are evolving as we have needs in the district, and so that was fantastic. But yep, my bad.
And she does it for free on her
Yep.
own time. And she's so thorough. She does a great job. Huge thank you.
710, updates on student Chromebook usage in grades K through 4. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for the school board, we're providing you, each of you have a copy of the recent survey that we provided to kindergarten through 4. This is a follow-up from the survey that we provided earlier in the year when we went to 2 to 1. A couple of notes I just wanted to highlight, which is more of the staff comments, which are on the last 2 pages. One one of the comments, the 2 to 1 ratio is ideal for the way curriculum is structured. It increased whole group instruction without technology, as well as small group and station-based instruction. For many, instructional delivery remains largely unchanged, with teacher noting they can make it work by going to 2 to 1. First grade feedback notes that students are interacting with each other far more often, going down to 2 to 1. And then on that last page there, this is some of the feedback that was shared previously, but we did expect some feedback to come back from some of the staff. Less time available for students to engage in collaborative work, some continued challenges regarding diagnostic testing and assessments. And then primary students was noted struggling to log in, and the inability for younger students to effectively respond or type using the computers because of the infrequency of utilizing the devices. But I would just say that first slide where I was just speaking to, our teachers have identified ways to make it work, which we did anticipate, after we've gone through now a full year of going 2 to 1 in K through 4.
Through some of the growing pains.
Right.
Any questions for Dr. Ruppert?
I think it's slide 5, has the 2 to 1 ratio improve the quality of student work in non-digital areas. 96% no, 50 responses. Any comments on that, Dr. Ruppert? I'd be curious to know why we got such an overwhelming response no to that question. Has it just not been enough time, do you think? Or?
Yeah, that's, without having a specific comment back, comment section to that, that's what I would anticipate as a response.
I think another piece to it is, this is speculation versus quantitative data, but when we look back at the usage of the devices, even when it was 1 to 1, was fairly low from grades K through 4. So I don't know that they're getting a huge increase in collaborative practices among students, simply because there's less devices. I think it speaks to there was a lot of collaboration to begin with. There still is. That would be my.
And one other note for the August board meeting, I will bring back to the board the screen time usage, which would have from March to the end of last school year, which when we started, but then for the entire school year. So I'll have that for the August board meeting during education, just to give an update of the screen time usage from K through 12.
Any other questions? All right, that brings us to 7.11, which is an affiliation agreement. Dr. Ruppert?
Yes, this is just the affiliation agreement with Millersville University to have a clinical nursing experience affiliation. We're starting to see more of those opportunities, providing that additional support in school nursing.
Thank you. I'm going to move to approve a student clinical nursing experience affiliation agreement between Millersville University and Southern York County School District for the 2026-2027 school year. May I have a second?
Second.
Any conversation, discussion, or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 7.12 is a Lincoln Intermediate Agreement. Dr. Ruppert?
Thank you, Ms. Nagle. For the board, this is an action item for our students to continue to use the Lincoln Edge program for online learning as opposed to the traditional being in school.
Move to approve an agreement with Lincoln Intermediate Unit 12 for participation in Lincoln Edge Digital Learning for the 2026-2027 school year, and that starts from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Any conversation, discussion?
Is there a cost difference from year over year?
Mr. Wilson, I do not have that specifically.
Is that just included through our
Or
other agreements with LIU 12? This isn't the only thing they provide for us, so
Right,
I
yeah.
figure it's just a package deal where we get access to this. Is that right?
This is separate.
Okay.
It is a separate cost.
Oh,
I don't know and I'm looking to find the cost, but
So the cost is in the agreement, towards the end of it. We would have to get back to you if there was an increase. I can't remember off the top of my head. They do bill for each student and depending on what category they're in.
Are board members having concerns about passing something without knowing the cost? And would we want to amend it to not to exceed X amount so that? 'cause
No, it was more of a curiosity question.
oh, I
not
kind of
a-
see it now.
yeah, it's not something that goes up greatly year to year. One of the main focuses isn't having it is it's an alternative to cyber charter programming, and it's about a third of the cost.
Right.
And at one time, we were doing our own online programming, but the numbers shifted when cyber charter schools got a whole lot more money and resources to do it in a better way, if you will. So this is the competition.
Okay,
Yep.
cool, thank you.
Joe, are you comfortable?
Oh, yeah, it was more of a curiosity than
Right.
I hadn't read all the way down to page 15 on this, too.
Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 713 is Act 48. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for the board this evening, this is an action item for the reservation of 6 secondary slots and 2 elementary slots for River Rock Academy.
Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and read this whole motion because the details get a bit hairy. So I move to approve, 1, an Act 48 program agreement for services with River Rock Academy for the 2026-2027 school year, and 2, a contract with River Rock Academy for the 2026-27 school year for the reservation of 6 secondary slots and 2 elementary slots, as well as a secondary and elementary student service as needed. And note, the reservation of 1 secondary slot is at a reduced cost of $167 per day as compared to the $246 per day, and the reservation of 1 elementary slot is $199 per day compared to $268 per day. Please note, pre-approval for these institutions prior to student placement is a requirement of PDE. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, any discussion or questions? I certainly can understand if you have them. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 714 is a tuition agreement with New Story. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for the board, New Story is a specialized program we've utilized to place students in the past, and we'll continue to utilize that through our special education department. So this is just the approval of the agreement, the master agreement, to be able to continue to utilize that program going into next school year.
Fantastic. I move to approve a tuition agreement with New Story LLC, a private licensed school for special education placements for the 2026-2027 school year. May I have a second?
Second?
Any conversation, discussions, or questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 715 is Pearson Dolls Agreement for Special Education. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for this evening, the Pearson Dolls Agreement is for our school psychologists, where they assess our students for initial evaluations going into special education, as well as re-evaluations. So this is the program that they would continue to utilize for that evaluation process.
All right, thank you. I move to approve the Pearson Dolls Agreement for Special Education Use of Digital Assessments at the cost of $9,725.15 through June 30th, 2027. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. 716, I have no other items of business. Does anybody else? All righty, back to you, President Hinkle.
Thank you. Turn it over to our treasurer, Mr. Decker, for our Finance and Budget Committee report.
Thank you, President Henkel. Item 8.01 are our financial reports. Attached is the treasurer's report, tax collection report, budget status report, cafeteria report. I'll go through some brief highlights of the treasurer's report. So in our general fund concentration account, we started with a beginning of the month balance of $656,028.52. We had deposits of $4,372,953.64, disbursements of $3,963,465.93, leaving an end-of-month balance of $1,065,516.23. Our tax collector accounts ended the month with $34,205.08. Our investment accounts began the month with $33,040,131.38. Net of interest, purchases, maturities, redemptions, we ended the month with $31,219,906.28. The details of our investments are listed below in the report. Is there any questions or comments on the financial report? Okay, next item, 8.02. These are our review of bills for payments, exoneration and refunds, and budget transfers. I'll make a motion to approve the following. Number 1, bills for payments. Number 2, exonerations and refunds. And number 3, budget transfers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just one item. I know we have, Trevor, a budget transfer for the Chromebooks from, I think, fund balance.
Yes.
Because we're pulling those forward. And then next year we'll be under because we pulled that forward, right?
Correct.
My question is, does that, that underage, if you want to call it that, will that flow back into fund balance automatically? Will we make that transfer, or?
It will just not be spent. So yes, it would be more of an automatic, just budget surplus. It'll be something we know of to begin the year that we won't be spending that money.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries. Item 8.03 is, we're going to receive some information on the district's business insurance program, and then we'll have a motion.
Yeah, so just a very quick thank you to Keller Brown, who is our insurance broker, for doing the hard work and getting all of the quotes, really working with our vendors. So we summarized in a memo, but just some real highlights of it. This is what is our kind of commercial property insurance. No change to the vendor there. In the past, we did see some very large increases. That was probably 3, 4, 5 years ago with inflation where it was and the cost to replace things really increasing. Overall, I think that was about a 5% year-to-year increase. Really, the biggest one that we're seeing right now is workers' compensation. So that relates to some claims we have. We are also switching vendors back to a company, or propose to switch vendors back to a company we have previously used and had good experience with. Cyber insurance, which is part of this as well, that's leveled off. Previously, we had seen some big increases there. Really, overall, we're about $8,000 over budget, which it's not great to be over budget, but when you look at the details, workers' comp was a big increase that can't say we were expecting to the level we saw it. So $8,000 over budget. We would recommend that to come from contingency. You'd see that in October when we can make those transfers.
Any questions for Trevor? I'll make a motion to approve the district's business insurance program for 2026-2027. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any nays, I'm sorry, any further discussion? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. So we're to that time of year where we don't have a board meeting in July. So item 8.04 is our authorization to the administration to pay the July bills. So I'll make a motion to authorize the administration to first pay bills as required. All bills paid between the June meeting and August meeting will be brought to the August board meeting for subsequent approval. Secondly, record annual year-end budget transfers as required. And 3, assign general fund balance that exceeds 5% as of January 30, 2026 for use in capital projects of the district. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, that motion carries. Item 8.05 is an informational item. This is on the district's property tax rebate program. That is attached for your information. I don't know if anybody has any question or discussion on this. Item 8.06 is depositories for the 2026-2027 school year. Those are attached for your reference. I'll make a motion to approve depositories for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstention? Having heard none, the motion carries. Item 8.07 is the sale of 1,050 retired Chromebooks to AGI Repair Incorporated. I'll make a motion to approve the sale of 1,050 retired Chromebooks to AGI Repair Incorporated at a value to be determined after evaluation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. So it's noted in our briefing that about 600 of these units were recently retired after a 6-year rotation. My thought is that out of those 600 recently retired units, there may be some with some life left in them that would be a good opportunity for communities of our district to have a laptop at home. Maybe they can't afford to have, a laptop, but this will give them an opportunity too. I would like to consider, pulling a portion of them, whether that's, 150 units, 200 units, whatever it is, to be able to offer them to our community. I mean, it doesn't even have to be students. You may have, elderly people who can't afford a computer but would like to have one, that we would be able to offer that to our community in some form. I don't know if that's going to require an amendment or if we want to push it forward, but.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a great question. So I know that a lot of these are parts type status. One would think, though, if there's, and maybe you can answer this, Dr. Bryson, if there's 600 of them that were recently retired, are those all in rough shape? Are there some that are still in decent shape?
Greg, do you want to comment on?
Yeah.
While there are still some that are functional, the Google only supports them up to a certain date. And even through what they call an extended support program, they're only good until June 2027. So not only would the community member would need to enroll them into that extended support program, it would still only be good for another year, and then the computer would start being vulnerable to any known vulnerabilities that come up with Chrome or Chromebook OS.
I think the other piece to go with that is it worked with the model that we did the first time. Yet there's a human resource piece behind that as well. And I think in conjunction with, we really don't trust the Chromebooks to put out there, even if we're charging 20 bucks, there's an expectation that they're going to be functional, and we can't really live by that. But there's a human resource piece in putting them out there on the community market, if you will, and then supporting them to get them out the door. Keeping in mind now, we're keeping all of our Chromebooks on campus and going through all those in preparation for next school year. In the past, kids were taking them home over the summer. So unless they reported it to us there was an issue, we didn't really have to touch them all, if you will. So my concern is with the human resource piece, there is a piece to that we're now establishing another program, if you will, to put these Chromebooks out there. But mainly the decisions behind, we really back what we're putting out there, even for a short period of time.
But I mean, at $20, I don't really know that someone would really hold us that liable.
I guess the other piece is then someone would have to go through and really evaluate these for functionality, because if a key doesn't work, you have to test every key to find it. You have to test every trackpad.
Which is the human resource part.
Yeah, that's.
Greg, you're not busy, right?
So the flip side of that could be eat the cost and just offer them free. No human resource, no real, $1,000 is parts anyway. Not that I'm recommending it, but that answers the liability question. Here, they're free, we can't guarantee. Would there, Greg, be a security labor reason that people would have to check, knowing that it would go to somebody else versus being junk for parts?
What was the first part of the question? I didn't catch it.
If we were to decide to donate them, is there anything that employees of the district would have to do to make sure, erasing stuff that they haven't had to do if it was just donating them for parts?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we would have
that's,
to go through and touch them all.
so back to labor.
Yeah, and it's worth recognizing this is not a $0 item. We don't know what the district will recover in terms of money.
Last time it was about
Well, they say $0 to $12.
per unit, so we expect a positive price on these, and so we have to kind of weigh the benefit of that even small financial benefit of the district to the dubious benefit that we're providing to anyone who wants one of these to be able to use it for a year before it is unsupported and vulnerable to
With all the
security
district
issues.
labor that has to be.
Yeah, with all the
2
labor.
years ago, it was a little less than 700.
But we're not sending these out the door in any shape or form with anyone's information on them. So they're going to be wiped one way or another.
Oh, no, if we give them to, or if they go to the AGI repair, they give us a certificate of destruction. So they wipe everything for us. They take care of that.
Do you wish to make a motion or a motion to amend?
I mean, I was just putting it out there. I don't know that the board has my same perspective in mind. I really kind of like the idea of just letting them have them too. I think that there's some benefit to the community. Although they would probably be, from Nathan's point, the most valuable ones in the lot, would be the ones that you would be, giving away. You're not giving the $0 ones away, so, I can see that. But I also don't have a desire to put extra stress on the staff over it.
For me, that's kind of maybe the deciding factor is someone has to go through and vet each one of these, because otherwise we're potentially handing people trash.
Yep.
So, no.
Okay. Any other discussion?
It was a good thought, though.
Very good.
Correct.
Yeah.
I appreciate the thought.
You say it's the thought that counts. I'm not sure it's true, but.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Those in favor of the motion, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, the motion carries. Item 8.08 is the renewal of our transportation management software. I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of Bus Boss transportation management software at a cost of $7,628 per year for the 3-year term of July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2029, to be purchased through Orbit Software Incorporated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, the motion carries. Item 8.09 is an agreement with Auto Agent Data Solutions. I'll make a motion to approve an agreement with Auto Agent Data Solutions LLC for access to Municipay for Railroad Borough collection of property taxes for a period of 3 years at no cost to the district. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I'm just wondering why the change in direction from typical taxpayers, maybe nobody wants the job, and how does it compare in cost to the position?
Yeah, so this is actually easy. We're not transitioning anything. It's another tool that we can use. So for those that don't know, we, Southern York County School District, collect for Railroad Borough. No one wants that job. But what this is giving those few residents of Railroad, there's about 100 and some odd parcels, the option to pay their taxes with a credit card or online. So right now, that's not an option. More so than just Railroad, we did work with all of our tax collectors throughout the district. So again, we just do Railroad, but we kind of got them on board with all offering this service. So we as a school district can only do it for what we collect for. They have to do it individually. So for example, for Shrewsbury Township, Gail Prego, she already had the agreement with Municipay through the county. So she already offered that service. It was something we wanted to make sure everybody could have the opportunity to pay electronically if they wanted. So not a different transition. You can still pay however you paid before.
And by no cost, the merchant fees are absorbed by the person using the credit card, not the
Right,
district. Any other discussion? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, that motion carries. Item 8.10 is a renewal of an agreement with Managed Methods. I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of an agreement with Managed Methods Incorporated, a Google Workspace cloud security platform, at locked-in user rates and discounts for the term of July 1st, 2026 through June 30, 2029, with a year-one cost of $9,896.25. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, that motion carries. Item 8.11 is renewal of VM licensing. I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of VMware licensing at the listed costs for the 35-month term of August 1st, 2026 through June 30, 2029, to be purchased through the Lincoln Intermediate Unit. Year one, prorated, $9,679.68. Year two, $10,560. Year three, $10,560. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, the motion carries. Item 8.12, renewal of hardware support for the district's core server environment. I'll make a motion to authorize the administration in consultation with the Chair of Finance and Budget and Vice Chair of Finance and Budget to purchase the renewal of hardware support for the district's core server environment. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll start with discussion by saying the reason we had to do this is the price is not yet determined, so they'll get the price, and then what you're doing is you're authorizing us to review the price and to give approval. That's why the motion's structured this way. Any questions about that?
What's the approximate expected price range?
I believe last year was around 10,000,
So it's expected to stay in that ballpark,
hopefully, yes.
not 20,000.
And Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the one where there's very limited other ways we could obtain it. So we hope it's not 20,000, but we can, right.
We have lots of options.
Any other discussion or questions? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, that motion carries. Item 8.13 is our annual Saxton and Stump engagement letter. I'll make a motion to approve the Saxton and Stump engagement letter for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, which is attached. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions on this? Those in favor, please signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, that motion carries. Item 8.14 is discussion of the budget process for the 2027-2028 budget. This is kind of a placeholder based on some discussion that we had at the last board meeting. So I'll just kind of start by saying I think how the process is going to work is I think members will have various questions and we'll have different areas of the budget that everybody wants to look into, right? I think for efficiency, funnel those through me. I'll compile them. I'll ask the administration various questions, sit down with the administration, and then, you know, depending on what the item is and whether it's of interest of one member or the whole group, we'll figure out how to disseminate that information. That's kind of how I envision it. Anybody have any questions or other thoughts on other ways?
I think that's a great start, thank you.
Yeah, and the goal here is, I mean, once we get into budget season, we're done, right? The situation is what it is, so if we're gonna look into some things and explore some things, it has to happen now versus then.
It sounds reasonable. I feel like my concerns were that we are essentially kicking the can down the road, even though this year there was no tax increase. Does that mean double what we would have this year, next year?
Right.
So I'm super concerned about that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the effort.
Send me those questions. All right. 8.15 is other items of business. I have none, Mr. President.
If I
hand it back to you.
can, 1 second there on that. If I can just go back to the Chromebook for just a second for the public, would it be possible, Dr. Rice can correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm out of line, whatever, if there is somebody in the community that is desperately in need of it, is there a way we could help them out with like a one-off case basis here? And I only say that now instead of asking you later because it's public, people can hear, but.
Yeah, I think if somebody's truly in need, they can reach out. And it's not an issue to reach out either to Dr. Reppert's office or Greg's office. And we can kind of work through that, see what options we might have.
If it's even possible, I just,
Right.
it was on my mind since you mentioned it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
All right. Brings us to item 9, personnel and policy. I will turn it over to Mrs. Samantha Hall.
Thank you. Item 9.01 is sabbatical leave. I would make a motion to approve a sabbatical leave for restoration of health for Jennifer Collins, Southern Elementary School elementary teacher, beginning August 12th, 2026 through the entire 2026-2027 school year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion passes. Item 9.02, sabbatical leave. I make a motion to approve a professional development leave for Kevin Lawrence, Susquehannock High School Social Studies teacher, for the second semester of the 2026-2027 school year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item 9.03, student reinstatement A. I make a motion to approve the reinstatement for student A effective with the commencement of the 2026-2027 school year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Dr. Reppert, I know that obviously we can't get into particulars in specific cases, but for the benefit of the public, could you just broadly outline what the reinstatement process looks like for a student that's being reinstated, what they have to go through, to the degree that you can talk about it?
Yeah, so when there are students that are in a placement looking for being reinstated back to the school district, there's requirements that they need to complete. Attendance, behaviors, grades, and there may be specific requirements based on why the student was placed. So in this case, I consider this a success. You know, student had, made whatever mistake it may have been, but had worked through the process and is now eligible to be returned back to the school district.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion passes. Item 9.04, the first reading of board policies. Policy 815 and 824. 815 is acceptable use of internet, computers, and network resources. I just wanted to bring these up because I had to remind myself how they came to be on this cycle. And so when we approved the Parent Square app in March, I was looking at policies that may need to be updated as a result of that. So that's what these updates are for. I would just say broadly that it just puts a boundary on how our district personnel interact with our students, and it enforces that Parent Square is the primary platform that we're using for that. So that is just for your information. 824, maintaining professional adult-student boundaries. Again, the same line, just making sure that we have boundaries for how district personnel communicate with our students. 9.05, second reading and approval of the following new or updated policies. This is 815.1, acceptable use of generative AI in education. And when I went back to remind myself what we had changed with that, it really, I think, was a recognition of the board that generative AI tools do not just output information, but they intake and analyze the data. And so by drawing these boundaries, the policy ensures that AI cannot be used to psychologically analyze, track, or ideologically profile students. And it also gives parents the ability to opt out should they choose to. So that one is a second read, so that means we're going to vote on it. So I make a motion to approve the following new or updated policies. 815.1, acceptable use of generative AI in education. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. 9.0.
Quick question on
Yes.
just the policies in general. I know we discussed when we're moving over from board docs to the new system. At what point will the policies be updated over there?
Yes, we were informed, we just had a recent training, July 1 is when they're making that transition.
Okay.
So policy 815.1, which was just approved, we will not be able to send that to PSBA until after July 1, for it to be reviewed and updated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question, thank you. Item 9.06, agreement with the Diligent Corporation to export a data archive from our board docs platform. I make a motion to approve an agreement with the Diligent Corporation to export a data archive from our board docs platform at no cost to the district. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion passes. And item 9.07, addendum with substitute teacher service. I make a motion to approve an addendum with substitute teacher service for the period July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item 9.08, other items of business. I have none, and so I pass it back to President Hinkle.
Thank you. Brings us to item 10, buildings and grounds. I'll turn it over to Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. President. Moving on to 10.01, we have the Buildings and Grounds Report, the Water Test Report, and Use of Facilities, all combined into one. So take it away, Mr. Buffington.
Yeah, certainly, that's for your information. The water tests are favorable. Buildings and Grounds Report, certainly in May is a busy time, graduation season and preparing for that. But just for your information.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.02, I would like to make a motion to approve SiteLogic IQ to design and develop pricing for the following. 1, critical building infrastructure, critical building functions, HVAC work at Shrewsbury Elementary, not to exceed $180,000. 2, related finishes and carpet replacement at Shrewsbury Elementary School, not to exceed $20,000. And 3, critical building functions, electric work at Shrewsbury Elementary, not to exceed $60,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have discussion? So, thanks for coming out tonight. Yes, sir. Appreciate it very much, and for your diligence in the process. As we're moving forward, specifically on the electrical process, one of the members of the board had made a suggestion, which I thought was pretty good, that we potentially look into the option of having a trailer standby generator that would be able to back up all of our buildings. That if we had a generator go down, we would be able to then use that generator to really be the backup in any scenario. And it may lead us to the ability to get more life out of our existing generators because we have a contingency plan. So I know in the process, it's not like you're walking that up and plugging it in, you know? But as we're doing some of this design work, if we could maybe take that into consideration as we're walking through it, that might be a good option for us.
Well, and I was the one who mentioned that to you. My thought was, if the generators on a trailer are capable of generators are always an emergency thing. So if a generator on a trailer is capable of providing the emergency capability, and the cost is not far off of a permanently installed generator, and it's able to do what it needs to do, if that was the primary generator at, let's say, Shrewsbury Elementary, where we're looking at replacing, does that give us flexibility to then move that to another location if another generator goes down and Shrewsbury is not in, you know, it's doing fine?
I think that's a really interesting idea to explore. I've done whole building generators and a whole lot of different things, but I've never had a district say, what happens if we have a generator? And I'll take it a step further. What happens if you just have the connections and you have an agreement with a company in York that they have a generator that they can bring out real quick too? Cost will be in creating that more of a plug and play situation than what you have. But we can absolutely look into that. And as with all the other things, particularly in electric, but both electric and HVAC, we're going to be looking into these things and being able to come back here and report, we're seeing this is good, we don't have to do this, we found another way. So that there are choices along the way, and if there's something that we need to stop on, of course we will. But we can absolutely do that. I think that, I'm actually looking forward to the conversation with our electrical engineer on that, because
Yeah, I thought
it's
it
an
was an
interesting
interesting
idea.
suggestion.
Sure is.
And I want to give proper credit. The inception for that idea came from Mr. Hash, and then I started mulling it over and.
Yep, that's a very interesting idea to explore, and we'd be happy to do that.
It would give us, these things definitely are critical, and it would give us a level of redundancy that we currently don't have. I mean, it would require us to have some modification potentially on the other buildings to be able to do the same thing. But it would then give us the potential of getting more life out of our generators because we have a backup plan.
Well, the analogy is you have a second car. When your car goes in the shop, you have the car. And so it's just that we have several drivers in the family and several cars. And if one of the cars goes down, we have a car. I'll have to look and see how big the generators are. We might not want to try and get a generator that's as big as you'd have it for the high school, because that's relatively new from the last project.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's things like that to consider.
Yeah, you
but-
definitely have to consider the load of all the buildings.
Yeah.
And where you want to be in that load capability.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my first thought would be we probably want to be able to handle the load of the middle school. And if we handle the load of the middle school, then we can probably handle the elementary schools.
Yeah, I mean, since we're getting into the design part, it's a perfect time
That's the
to
question.
to look at
It's a
it.
great
Is
idea.
it feasible?
I'm looking forward to the discussion, really, I am.
Yeah,
Yes.
certainly, we're gonna have maintenance costs with that trailer, with a trailer generator.
Sure.
We wouldn't just let it sit there, we would have to, exercise it.
You'd have to figure
like we
out how to
do
exercise it.
all our generators.
Well, and again, I was thinking, I don't want to buy like a in-place generator and a trailer generator. The question was, can we set up one of our buildings, if the generator's going up anyway, can we set that building up so that it uses the trailer-based generator as its primary? And then, yes, I understand, I mean, every generator has maintenance where you have to run it sometimes.
But you can't take it away. You
Yeah.
can't take, you would have to, if you did this, you would have to go under the assumption that, okay, we're going to make this building so that we can go plug and play with the backup generator, but the primary generator has to be fixed.
You
Has to
would,
be fixed because we have to have a generator on site in order to have school.
The purpose
We
is
can't
to
not
avoid the
have it.
delays of if the generator, if we push the critical maintenance a little bit, right?
Yep.
If we push that down the road a little bit, we still have a backup plan. So when he was saying it takes 6 months to design these things, okay, we do have a backup in case this thing just breaks. We don't have to close school. We can roll it, plug it, you may lose a day, but you're not losing 6 months.
Right.
If you need to push maintenance a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, that's sort of my thought is, if the, let's say we put this at Shrewsbury, generator at Friendship fails, but it's set up where you can just pull this thing in and put it there. Do we have to stop having school at Shrewsbury at that moment?
for the time that you don't have the generator until you get the crew in to reconnect a temporary generator, which, to your point, yes, we talked about that lead time and everything else. But until you get that temporary generator, you're not having school.
Okay, so that would be where it, okay.
Yeah.
But if you had it set up so that, the idea, my thought behind the reason I thought it was unique is if you have a generator that you say, well, it's getting towards the end of its life, you may be able to get 5 more years out of that generator because you have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't just get 5 more years out of this generator, you would get 5 more years out of every generator.
Yep.
Because you have a backup plan that you're not, you're right, we may have to miss a day. We may have to miss a day because we gotta bring somebody in and wire this thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't promise a day, but it's
Well-
not gonna be a week. It should be a week. It's gonna be days. And to your point, if you have that backup option, now, I would want to explore with local, because if you bought one and you kind of plugged it in, like, let's say it's the middle school size. We'd plug it in with the middle school, we'd run the regular generator, we would have to exercise the temporary generator against the middle school load every so often to make sure it stays okay. But if something happened, now you take it somewhere else. But maybe you look at the cost of what it is to put that one in there and you say, what if I make the connections so that the connections are easy, depending on what that costs, and you have an agreement with somebody in town that we get the first generator that's this size, you'll always have one, that type of language. Now you're shortening that duration.
Right,
It's not quite as easy as pick it up and take it and you miss a day of school, but it might, you're making
Now
that
the
less and you're
exercise
still
of
trying to
maintenance is
reduce our
theirs.
costs.
Right.
Right. Yeah, well,
There's a whole lot to fold into that, but yeah.
Yeah, if the idea is to have a fourth generator, or whatever, is to have one more generator than the generators we need, I'm not so keen on owning that, but a service. But if it could be like a combination of things, but I am interested in knowing how the service works and then what the hookups look like for that. If the idea is, okay, we're gonna have our building so that we can bring a generator in fast and hook something up.
Those types of agreements look like a certain amount of thousands of dollars per year to have it on standby and have that guaranteed. The cost of bringing it out and hooking it up is a whole separate cost. But if you want to think about how long you could make your generators last, and you want to have the same idea but owned by somebody else, you'd pay, but when you start to look at how many years you could pay to have that available to you, it's going to be a lot of years.
Yeah,
I think it's something to explore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Look
it
at
is.
No idea.
It sure is.
And I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it is too.
So, Bill, is this an effort to avoid replacing, excuse me, the generator at Shrewsbury Elementary School for the rate of 105? Is this to try and elongate, the
Well,
life of that generator? But
I think if I remember
How's that
correctly, that generator was,
That cost is not replacement. That cost that generator's not separated into the loads that it's supposed to be
Okay.
for the building. So that cost was to upgrade the generator circuitry, not to replace it.
Okay.
I think, go ahead.
But however, because it's not separated within the building, current code has that you should separate the generator from the rest of
separate them
the
in
electrical
emergency.
switchgear and things. The recommendation, and as we would go through design, is we would look to buy it, and as we would work with the budget, potentially buy another generator or buy a generator that would sit outside so it separates it from the building, would be my recommendation.
We would look to keep costs down, regardless of which way we're headed with it. If we find out that the generators are serviceable, we're going to treat it like our cars. We're going to keep it longer and figure out how to have a backup.
sure. Yeah. Right. I mean, this is the time to do it, right? Because we're just beginning the process of determining what we need to do.
Yep,
So-
absolutely.
And maybe in the end, it becomes not a realistic idea, but I thought it
Oh,
was
but
worth putting.
the idea of it may set us off in a different direction that gives us a little different peace of mind for a lot less than buying a generator. It just depends on, we have to dig into it a little bit more, but we'll be able to report back and explain it in detail.
Okay, any other discussion?
Another question is what you're going to do with the rest of your evening, because we usually have you slated for like 10:45.
I have recently committed to my health. I'm going to go home and walk on the treadmill, to tell you the truth. That's what I'm going to do.
you could walk on the
I can walk on the track.
What are you gonna listen to?
I'm going to watch TV.
Oh.
I'm going to watch TV.
Okay. So all signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Any nays? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming out this evening and being here for questions. Appreciate that very much.
Just one more point on that. In August, we would come back to the other work, the security and the access, which was listed on the slide there, for the board's consideration. The reason why we don't need to consider that tonight is those items have a shorter design time. So I don't know if we can pull that back up, Kat. So the first, the items that were just approved are the first three. Then we have the deferred items, which obviously we're not going to do, but then the other important work, the security and access for the board to consider, and you can see the asterisk there that we would come back in August for that consideration.
Thank you
Yep.
for clarifying. Moving on to 10.03, information about potentially undercoating the frame suspension of the district's maintenance and security vehicles. Mr. Buffington?
Yeah, certainly one of the things we had talked about in the board meetings were, some of the vehicles and rust and things like that. And just wanted to approach the board that we've dug in and looking to get some estimates and things, but wanted to kind of get some direction on the way the board would like us to proceed. There are two schools of thought with undercoating vehicles. One is to undercoat, obviously we're trying to protect the vehicle from rust. The potential negative with undercoating is if that undercoating starts to break down and, can actually trap some moisture in there and then accelerate the rust process. The other school of thought, so one school of thought is undercoating. The second school of thought is just vigilant cleaning, of that. So, but just wanted to come to the board and we can come back with proposals and things. The other thing that, we've looked into is undercoating would probably not be a one-time for each vehicle. You're probably looking at every 5 years or so to redo. Just wanted to potentially see some direction with that.
Sure. I mean, in the briefing, there's some other information there about not really a rubberized undercoating, but more like a bed liner type undercoating, which I think would definitely extend the life.
Is that sort of like just a sheet of something rather than?
It's still going to be spray. It's
That's
still going to be
okay.
sprayed on. It's not a rubberized undercoating, which is maybe more like, that's probably old school. This is more like a bed liner where it's like a textured paint almost that is going over, they're putting it up on a lift and doing it from underneath so they can get a good coating on everything. And a lot of the issues we've been having is the bed rails.
Yeah.
And this would coat those bed rails. I mean, this quote is, I don't know what it's for. I mean, and it's obviously only one vehicle, but at the cost that's here, this certainly looks like something that would be worth it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing to consider is if it breaks down and traps moisture, but yeah, certainly, we're open to see direction and go from there.
I mean, I think it's worth noting that in the briefing, it says Sidoris Motor Company of Glen Rock does not recommend undercoating.
Yep.
Due to their experience and possibility of trapping moisture.
Yeah. Yep.
So we do have someone who works with this saying, no, don't do it. It can make it worse.
Well, and I think that with a rubberized undercoating, that is, I can understand that because it's going to get dry and crack. Whereas this other product, which, and I don't know if Norm put you onto this or not, if he sent you in that direction, but this is more like a paint than a rubberized undercoating.
So it won't trap, you don't think?
Well, it shouldn't crack like rubber would. I mean, rubber's going to dry rot and crack. I mean, I've seen it done this way. I've also seen it done with, like you said before, like a lanolin oil-based product that there's really not anything there to crack, but they do need recoating, and probably every year when if you go that direction. Because that's not a real coating. It's basically more like putting oil on it to keep it from rusting.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and my personal recommendation would be with the used vehicles, you know, and potentially it's a hybrid of, as we would buy a new vehicle, get it undercoated, but the used vehicles continue what we're doing with the washing program and potentially step it up a bit, you know, get some better washing, you know, that can get underneath there, you know, would be my recommendation, but just, we wanted to see where the board would like us to.
That makes some sense to me because I'm just thinking, you know, once the rust has begun, is coating it just sealing up a rusting area where it can rust, you know, and you can't get to it?
It is.
So certainly on the used vehicle, on the ones we've had for a while, it seems like probably a bad idea to apply.
If the rust has already started, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
But on the newer vehicles, you can prevent better than.
So then you said the coating would probably have to be applied yearly. So.
Not this stuff.
No, okay.
Yeah, he was talking about different
The
companies.
lanolin oil does, not this. This is more of every couple years, perhaps.
Okay. Okay, because I was gonna say, if it's yearly and we've got trucks that are 15 years old, now we're talking about a $7,000 expense.
So we've got a 2022 and a 2023 in the fleet. So should those be undercoated? And then the next newest one is a 2017.
I guess another question is, does the security vehicle need it as much? Because it's not dealing with as much driving over the salt that it laid down. It's driving on salted roads during the winter, like all of us are,
Right, it's not spreading the salt.
but it's not, yeah, it's not
Well,
poisoning
the other one's a
itself.
van. The other one's a van and
Like the other
not a
ones are.
truck, too.
Yeah, there's a van in there, and
Yeah.
just the other day, the truck number one, the 1984 International, I was under that, and it looked pretty good,
Okay.
you know, for an 84.
So the salt spreaders are known, the youngest of those is 9 years old. Is that right? Because the van is not used for salt spreading, or is it?
The van is not used for salt.
So the youngest salt spreader truck is 9 years old, which not, you know, I don't know if it started to rust, but it definitely could have.
Yeah,
The 2010 is the one that we're currently having repaired,
it is.
correct?
Yep.
So that's 16 years of use. And how much was the repair cost on that? It was like seven?
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in
7.
there. I should
Well-
have brought that.
So you could easily, I mean, well, okay, again, it's every few years. So with the undercoating, you'd be paying maybe a third of that cost. And if it avoids it, you know, if it completely avoids rust, great, but it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the older vehicles that have already been so exposed, you're not gonna
Well,
be
yeah,
able to
no.
reverse the rust.
Undercoating is
No.
only
It's
$450
there.
per vehicle. Where are you getting a third?
Well, over time. So well, that, in that case, it's a 16-year-old truck. And if you're saying you have to apply the 450 coating every, say, 3 years.
Maybe. at
Right,
the-
okay, well, no, I was just taking that as a possibility. Then, like I said, if you had to apply it every year, you're looking at a $7,000 expense over 15 years. If you apply it every 3 years, well, you're in for a $2,500 expense over that time. If it actually would prevent rust from progressing to the level where you have to do the repair, then that could be, you know, that obviously wins, but there's a question about whether it does or not.
So, Mr. Buffington, can you say if the 2010, the 2015, and the 2017, even as well as the 1984, they're all are dealing with some semblance of rusting underneath, so undercoating would not be recommended, or what are your assessments of the condition right now?
Yeah, certainly they're gonna have rust underneath them, but, yeah, my recommendation would be to undercoat new vehicles when we, moving forward, we could do that and, step up the washing, and wash the existing vehicles.
Okay, so you're thinking that if we coat anything, it's not gonna be helpful at this point. It's already started, so just washing is
That would be my
recommended?
recommendation and backed up by the mechanics, our local mechanics.
So, yeah, actually, I'd like to understand that. They were not recommending for our vehicles.
Nope.
And in this case, all of our vehicles are old enough that there's probably some rust.
Yeah.
But did they say, we just don't recommend this across the board?
Yeah, they don't recommend the process. They would recommend, good cleaning and things like that. But they said, if you do, here's a company that we would recommend doing it.
Okay.
I think his recommendation's sound.
The Satoris Motor Company. I'm inclined to lean toward that recommendation. The nice thing is, we're not making any decisions tonight, because one, it's not an action item, two, it's, we don't have any vehicles that really fit the bill at the moment. So we can kind of bring this back around when there's a new vehicle, kind of make a decision about that one.
When a new vehicle, and certainly I can come back to the board and update, as we go through inspection processes and things, we can continue to update
Yeah,
the board.
continue to ask questions and
Yep.
get more information about are there different processes? Does one work better than others? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Buffington, for doing that research and answering our questions. Moving on to 10.04, other items of business, which I do not have any. Back to you, President.
All right, brings us to item 11, transportation, health, and safety. I will turn it over to Mr. Hash.
Thank you, President Hinkle. 11.01, we have third quarter discipline data from Dr. Reppert.
Thank you, Mr. Hash. School Board, you have with you the yearly discipline for the 25-26 school year, marking periods 1, 2, 3, and on the back side, on the back end of that is the comparison to the third quarter last year. One thing I just wanted to note again, that in the gray area at the bottom of the infraction, as well as the action code, are the code of conduct that are not associated with state reportable, and that's detentions. So where you see that number in gray, and I'm using the comparison one of last year to this year on the back side, where you see the 139 incidents, those were detentions that were assigned throughout the district that are no longer being reported to the state. So we at least have some comparable data by including that. So when you look at the totals for last year, there was 231 infractions during the third marking period, and then by adding the non-state associated reportable codes to the district total, it's 213. So we have less infractions during the third marking period compared to last year. And then when we look at the action codes down at the bottom, you can see that being transferred as well. Just three things I just wanted to note when doing comparison to last year. Threatening a school official or student was 12 last year, it's down to 3. A lot of that comes back to the interventions and things that we have put into place. But where you see in the possession, use, or sale of vaping material, that has increased, but that a lot of it comes to, our students are making decisions that are putting them in the position to be, caught in those instances. But a big thanks to the administration and the support with Mr. Leitzel, as well as our SRO, Sergeant Smuck, because when those situations do occur, they're alerted through the detectors. Those students are being addressed in those situations.
I guess it's also worth noting that with something like threatening school official student, we catch that every time.
Yeah.
With vaping, sometimes the increase is actually that we're catching it more.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean it so certainly these represent, I actually probably gonna look through it later and see which of these could result from better enforcement, and stricter enforcement and better ability to catch it, and which of these are, oh, no, we get that every time because, like, the school official was right there when it happened.
Or it was reported.
Yeah.
Dr. Reppert, may I ask, what is the simple assault on staff? Is that pushing or?
It could be pushing, it could be kicking.
Would spitting fall under that? I'm just curious.
I would hope that's not happening.
Yes, it could. Being intentional, it could be.
That's a concerning number. We went from 0 to 4.
Yeah.
Is-
What I can say is, this was one student, and that student has been placed as a result of those actions.
So all four were.
One student.
Okay.
Any other comments? All right, thank you, Dr. Reppert. 12.02, Kat, hold that 1 second. To the May the May report of the transportation report. First students successfully closed out the school year with only one open route remaining. Thanks to strategic coverage, all home-to-school transportation, athletic events, and field trips were fully accommodated. Recruitment efforts continued steadily throughout May and will remain a top priority as we transition to the summer months. One other thing, they had their year-end ice cream social. To honor the dedication and hard work of our school bus drivers, the district hosted its annual driver appreciation event at the main campus. Drivers from across the district gathered to celebrate a successful school year and enjoy a special ice cream variety social as a small token of thanks for their unwavering support and service. Highlight of the event was their annual group photo captured with the drivers proudly standing in front of the school buses to commence the end of another successful school year. Thank you, drivers.
An awesome picture.
11.03, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 Emergency Operations Plan. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion passes. 11.04, I'd like to make a motion to approve the submission of an application for the School Violence Prevention Program grant. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. That motion passes. 11.05, I'd like to make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the SRPD and the Southern SYCSD for the next 2-year period as required per the existing agreement. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion passes. 11.06, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the coordinator of student transportation to, 1, approve bus routes and drivers for the 2026-2027 school year prior to the board meeting on August 13, 2026, and number 2, approve bus drivers throughout the 2026-2027 school year between board meetings. May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, or any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion passes. 11.07, other items of business, I have none. Back to you, President Hinkle.
Thank you. Turn it over for item 12, athletics and extracurricular, to Mrs. Mary Lee Hall.
All right, thank you, and I'm so glad we don't have anything going on out there right now because it is raining. So submitted by Mr. Blandon, I've got the wrap-up of this year's season. So the 2025-2026 four-year athletic seasons ended on June 2nd, but our fields are full as teams are now starting to train for next year's athletic teams. And and I'm sure you could see in the facilities report all of the activity happening out there. So there are a few more highlights to share from spring sports for our varsity teams that have come in since the last board meeting. So for girls lacrosse, the Warrior girls lacrosse team had a great regular and postseason, finishing as York Adams champions at a final accomplishment of 12-0 in the league. And in postseason, they finished runner-up in the York Adams tournament and in third place at the PIAA District 3 2A tournament. The finish qualified them for the PIAA state tournament, where they competed in their first round game at Mars High School on June 2nd, which is super far away. The game was a close one and headed to the fourth quarter, all tied up before Mars pulled away and the Warriors lost 7-13. The following student athletes earned All-Star York Adams honors for the season. First team, Julia Shepard, Brooke Shabdak, and Samantha Madden. And the second team, Kara Zepak, Emma O'Connell, and Lucy Black. And then goalie of the year, Julia Shepard. So congratulations to the team for a great run. An amazing season for them. And boys lacrosse, the Warrior boys want to recognize the student athletes earning All-Star York Adams honors for the season. So that would be an honorable mention for James Parks and Henry Rodriguez. Track and field, Maddie Marks for discus and Patrick O'Brien for pole vault. And then honorable mention was Jaden Bullsholes and Ian Bucalo. If I'm not pronouncing those names correctly, forgive me. For baseball, the York Adams All-Stars are Nick Nace for the first team. Congratulations, and an honorable mention for Landon Kleeman and Henry Heilman. And for softball, they certainly had a great regular and postseason again this year, and their all-star honors went to Pitcher of the Year, Ella Wetzel, and honorable mention for Mikhail Papel and Callie Shu, as well as Mia Wetzel. And certainly we look forward to the 2026-2027 school year with another opportunity for the Warriors to accomplish great things. And that completes my report. And then moving on to 12.02, I'd like to make a motion to approve a renewal agreement with Huddle for a period of 2 years, effective July 1st, 2026, at a cost of $15,000 per year, with the increase in cost of $3,300 to be paid for with sponsorship funds. And for the public, I'd just like to share a little bit of the board brief and what that includes, which will be access for all varsity and JV sports teams, increased storage for all teams to 200 hours per team, Huddle Assist for all teams, which provides for film breakdown for scouting and stat purposes, which is amazing right there. Increased smart cameras for 2 to 5 cameras, including high school gym, main outdoor stadium, end zone camera, baseball camera, and softball camera. Huddle sideline for football, online playbook, and optional Huddle Titan wearable devices. Huddle TV live streaming, which is going to be great for family members to view games, but they hadn't had that opportunity previously. And then the Huddle Focus Exchange Network. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. And with no abstentions or nays, that carries and passes. So, yay. And so thankful for the sponsorship too. That really takes a load off of an already burdened financial situation. And moving on to 12.03, any other items of business?
Thankful to hear about the end zone camera. We just had that mentioned, and
Yes, we did.
there it is.
Yes, so thank you so much for bringing that to life. I'm sure we'll have some happy people. And I have no other items of business, so back to you, President Hinkle.
All right. Item 13, other business. Anyone? Hearing none. 14.01, Legislative Council.
All right, thank you, President Henkel. Big thing that happened last month is the House passed the HB 1814, which is student mobile device restrictions throughout the day in schools. That passed 126 to 75. That now moves back over to this basically, there's two parallel bills. There's a Senate Bill, SB 1014, and HB 1814. As of now, the House bill goes back to the Senate and is currently in the Education Committee there for review. The Senate bill is currently in the House Appropriations Committee, so eventually they're going to have to reconcile these two bills, but apparently the text is very similar at this point. Other things that were going on, Senate Education Committee had met on June 9th, talked about career and technical education opportunities, reducing barriers for students, school vision screening, improved requirements for vision screening for students in schools. And another bill that was discussed was Seal of Biliteracy, basically allowing school districts to award the Seal of Biliteracy on high school diplomas to recognize students proficient in multiple languages. Other action, there's a Senate Bill 402 authorizing anti-seizure medication in schools to be administered with parental approval. That's kind of the big stuff. Any questions?
Yeah, the anti-seizure, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So is that usually something that's taken in the morning or the evening, or is there?
This is
during the
basically
day's?
emergency anti-seizure,
Oh,
kind of similar to, what is it? The
EpiPen
EpiPen.
for allergy.
So it's something similar to that.
I don't think I realized that was a need.
Yeah. But I guess it's similar to the AEDs. You know, it's kind of an emergency step that if the schools have available, they can help somebody internally if they know that a student has a history.
So that would be a school nurse that could administer that, I'm guessing.
I don't know. I didn't read the
Fine.
bill at this
We'll
point.
make sure someone here can.
But yes,
Okay.
it's not approved yet, so
Is it in the house?
it's currently it's on the table in the Senate.
Okay.
So it hasn't gotten out of the Senate yet. But it seems like a worthwhile thing. That concludes the legislative report.
York County School of Technology?
York County School of Technology graduated a lot of students last month. Currently in the JOC, we're talking about how to better manage sort of the scope of the budget increases year over year so that there's no sticker shock for some of the districts who weren't really pleased with the budget that came out this year. That talk is ongoing.
You're not talking about us, are
Well, they're talking about us, they're talking about Southwest. This was the first year that the York County School of Technology budget did not pass on the first go-round, period. So, there was a lot of talk about that, and, you know, that is backstop for if the budget is not palatable by the student districts. So,
How did they manage the shortfall in the budget they were requesting?
they reduced their bus population or bus fleet by one for this coming school year. The original plan had an increase of 2 next year, but they did not put 2 in, and they took 1 away. So that was one way. They eliminated some programs for teacher training that weren't being utilized. There wasn't any staffing changes as a result on their end.
Which I wouldn't expect there to be any because they have such an
They're full
influx of
stop,
students.
yeah. I mean, we're trying to
That's
figure out a
tough.
way to get more seats for students.
Right.
That's why we bought the other building, but we won't be able to use that for probably another 8 years plus.
The point about teacher training programs that weren't being used, I mean, that's an important point about pushing back on the first budget you get, is sometimes when they have to, they discover things like that,
Yes.
and that's just being
And it's
being
human nature.
responsible.
Why would
Yeah.
you look for things if your budget is approved from the beginning?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money they saved in doing that, Joe? Director Wilson, excuse me.
Daggone it, I don't have my sheet in front of me from that meeting, but.
Did they outline that for you?
Yeah, it was all outlined. There was a presentation during the meeting. It basically, don't quote me, but I think it was about a $300,000 to $400,000 change.
Oh my,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
LIU 12, Mrs. Stoller isn't here. Do you have any updates?
No updates this time.
All right. York Adams Tax Bureau?
Yep, no updates.
This is your first chance to give it. No? All right.
Good
job, Trevor.
Good job.
Such a riveting topic, too.
Yeah, it's great there.
All right, 1405, Southern York County School District Foundation.
Yes, we will meet again on September 8th and recessed for the summer.
All right.
There are good things, though,
Hold on.
still in the works. More money for
But they're in the works, so
scholarships.
you got to save them for August. Is that what you're doing?
September.
For September, okay. All right, 1406, other items of business. I have none. Hearing none. 15.01, the student activities report for May 2026 is attached for your information. 15.02, resignations and retirements. There are 2 there for your information. 15.03, we have a donation of a cello to Southern York County School District from Mark Severn, so thank you, Mark. 15.04, other items of business. I have none. 16.01, the Home Education Outside Cyber Charter and LIU 12 Cyber Program numbers are there for your information. 16.02, this is just for your information, Kevin Lawrence, Messiah University Counseling Practicum, we placed with Matthew Sherpington, cooperating school counselor at Susquehannock High School during the fall 2026 semester. 16.03, announcements by board president and superintendent. I need to announce that we had an executive session just prior to this meeting to discuss safety and security as well as real estate. And I'll announce that the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will not be held in July, but will be on Thursday, August 13th, 2026, right here at 7 p.m. Dr. Bryson.
Yeah, thank you, President Hinkle. Real quick, most everything I had on my list was covered, so all I will say is I appreciated the last couple days of school, just to share with the community, if you didn't know, 6th graders took a graduation walk around their elementary schools for the first time, and we celebrated them moving on to the middle school. If you didn't know as well, we do transitions between elementary, middle, and then transitioning between middle and high. Hugely beneficial for the kids to take some of that anxiety off, not only before going into summer, but in particular our web programming with 7th graders and 9th graders. We do first day of school is really them and transitioning into the building without bringing 900 kids into the building at the same time. So as always, looking forward to that moving up. We did serve ice cream on the last day to bus drivers, and then our whole team then went to each school and handed out to all staff to kind of wish them the best over the summer and their vacations and whatnot. And I know all of our guys here and gals and admin are looking forward to some vacation. So if we disappear for a while, it's to recharge the batteries and return in the best shape we can. And for everybody else, living your dream over the summer, it's the time to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to item 17, new business. Does anyone have any? Hearing none. Brings us to item 18.01. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.